Hi, this is Pam Akins from The Weed in My Garden, and this is the beginning of a series that I'm doing on kitchen herbal medicine. I came from a long line of farmers and plant people, and at this point in my life, I've spent a lot of time researching, experimenting, foraging, learning how to identify and how to make many herbal remedies that I currently use for myself and share with my family and my friends. So the basics are actually very simple. If you can follow a recipe, you can make herbal remedies. And let's say that you can't see yourself going out and foraging for your own herbs and plant material like I do, then there are like tons of resources where you can buy those online, dried, organic, etc. I've made a recent video about how to make your own organic elderberry syrup, and I buy online dried organic berries, even though I do forage for myself as well. So don't let that stop you, is what I'm trying to say. It's like you can find herbs and you can find all of the tools necessary. Most of them you probably already have in your kitchen. So this video is basically about the basics and what sort of things I'll be demonstrating in my videos. One of the things that got me initially, I would go into a health food store and I'd see all these little brown bottles and all of these names that seem foreign to me, like tincture and oxymel, etc. Well, I wanted to briefly explain those to you because there's no real magic here. What we're talking about is taking dried or fresh herbs or plant material and somehow getting the medicinal values out of those into some form of a carrier, whether it be an oil, which is called an infused herbal oil, and from that you can make salves. Very simple process. I'll be explaining how to do that. The next thing that you could infuse your herbs into would be honey. A lot of people don't think about that. I infuse garlic in honey, and that may sound really horrible to you, but I think it's incredibly delicious, and it makes an unbelievable salad dressing. One person that I read loves to dribble the honey on their pizza. You know, maybe they're smoking some other kind of herb while they're eating their pizza, but anyway, this is a very good method for acquiring the medicinal benefits of and getting kids of the appropriate age to get the benefits of herbal medicine. Now, the word tincture. If you don't know what that means, it's just very simple. You use alcohol, anywhere from 80, 100 proof to pure grain alcohol. There's a lot of preferences and controversy about which you should use. But I think safely, when you first starting using herbal medicine and start making your own tinctures, 100 proof is a good way to go. And I'll talk more about that when I teach you how to make a tincture. All you really do is take your herbal material, put it in a jar, a clean, dry glass jar, put this over it, let it sit. And this will extract both the alcohol and the water soluble elements into your tincture. And that's what a tincture is. And this is what you see in the health food store in the little dropper bottles. Because of the strength of a tincture, then you usually only have to take a drop or two at a time. And that's something that we'll talk about too in the basic series, about how to go about learning what your body likes, what it reacts well to, and how much. The last thing I want to show you is about apple cider vinegar. So everybody knows about that. There's a lot of talk about that these days. I even make my own, believe it or not. Sometimes I wonder why I do it, but I just like it. I like to do it, and it's so much more delicious than just your standard apple cider vinegar that you buy. Anyway, this is where the term oxymel comes from. So you would put your herbal material in apple cider vinegar in order to extract the elements out of the herbs or the plant material into the apple cider vinegar. And with an oxymel, you also sweeten it with honey. Now, when you use honey, you use raw, unfiltered honey. And we all know that there's 1,000 different benefits to using honey just in general. And we'll cover some of that as we get into, making honey infusions. But that's what an oxymel is. Now, one of my favorite oxymels is elderberry. I don't particularly like elderberry syrup so much. It's a little sweet for my taste. It's great to get kids to drink it, and I like it when it's mixed in a tea or something along those lines. But if I'm just going to drink me some elderberry when I'm sick, I'm going to want to drink an oxymel. And so this is what I've made, and what I did was I took the berries, I put them in apple cider vinegar, I let them sit for a period of time that I felt like that where it infused most of the good stuff out of here. Then I strained it and I sweetened it with a bit of honey. And when you use this and garlic infused honey for a vinaigrette, it is like the best thing you could ever put on your salad. So you see that using herbal remedies is a lot like cooking in many ways. If you understand how great an elderberry is, how great honey is, what garlic does for you, and of course there's a lot of things that seem a little mysterious, like going out and picking goldenrod and just mimosa tree bark and etc. But none of that is very complicated and easy to understand because we have Google. So I wanted to just do a little quick review to give you some encouragement to follow along. Maybe just go through the basics with me on my videos, and I'll be writing content and giving you, suggestions on where you can buy things. There's not many things to buy, You'll need some tins. If you're watching this video, you probably already have one of these guys, which is something I can't imagine living without, which is a canning funnel. Double boiler. If you have an Instapot, I'll show you how to use that for some of the things that we'll be making. Crock pot. I am a person that's not necessarily a purist. I do like to go forage in the woods, and that's just because I'm an outdoor person and I like doing that. But I'll use my Instapot in a heartbeat to make a remedy because it's just easier. So that's basically what I'll be doing. And just in review, herbal oils, salves and lotions. That'll be one area I'll be teaching. Infusions of honey and how that works. We'll also cover like shelf life, which is an important thing. One of the reasons why you want to make a lot of your own remedies is because just about everything you buy now has preservatives in it and ingredients that you don't know where they come from. And when you take supplements, they're not always highly regulated. So, some people believe that if you can't buy it in the pharmacy or your doctor prescribes it, that you can't, make your own medicine safely. But you certainly can, because food is medicine. Then we'll be making the tinctures, talking about how to dose a tincture. When you get into extracting as much medicinal property out of a plant as alcohol does, then you have to exercise some caution. Usually err on the side of a little less at first, understanding what your body's going to do with it, and then build on that. It's a process of discovery. And then we'll discuss a lot about apple cider vinegar. I'm going to show you how to make your own because it's so easy. And like I said, if you like apple cider vinegar in general, You're gonna love homemade apple cider vinegar. So that's the basics, and that's what I'm going to be doing here on my blog. I will constantly be updating and doing different recipes. I'm kind of on a thing right now of pine pitch, and I know that sounds really far out for a lot of people, but we've been through a hurricane here, and we have lots of trees down, and I've been harvesting pine pitch, and I made my own pine pitch salve, and I have been so impressed with it. It sounds stinky, it sounds sticky, and it just sounds like a terrible thing. But once you make it into a salve, it's really nice. And I have developed some thin skin, and I have parents who are in their mid-80s, and their skin tears, bruises, and bleeds very easily. And I made this specifically for them. Also, if you are a backpacker, and I like to do that as well, learning how to handle and work with pine pitch could be critical if you're out in an emergency situation. And it works as well as stitches in some situations, especially emergency situation out in the woods. So I'm going to cover some of those, like what you might consider to be a little bit far out topics, but it never hurts, you know, knowledge is power. So thank you so much for watching this video, choosing my blog to follow, and if you have any comments, anything that you'd like me to elaborate on, or maybe a direction that you'd like to see me go in, just leave a comment and I'll be happy to do some research on that for you. Thank you so much.